Of course, it's going to be a tough match before it's over, Peter.
Certainly think so.
Australia's premier sporting events. The 1981 Victorian Football League Grand Final between Carlton and Collingwood.
People are saying this is the worst Magpie side that they can ever remember.
They were probably the most talented team that I ever coached.
We had so much belief in each other, we would die for each other.
If you play for Collingwood, you hate Carlton. That's just the way it is.
When we go to Victoria Park, people are actually spitting on you.
The burden of not winning and losing so many grand finals, it feels sick.
The pressure was always there for Collingwood. I was playing for survival.
If you don't give it that emotional commitment, you're just not going to survive. Allen is out cold, or he was.
The jaw was swinging in the wind. It was completely severed. It was a good whack.
It was do or die to beat these guys. It was ingrained into us.
Good sides have an inner feeling that you can never be beaten.
When you play, you're in the moment. You always think you're a chance. Always.
Come with us as we leave the skyscrapers behind to the battlefields where the campaigns for 1981 were staged.
It was a great era to play football. We were weekend warriors, if you want to call it that. We all had a job and enjoyed playing football. It wasn't about money.
I just think it was more enjoyable in those days.
Putting that navy blue jumper on and running out onto the ground with guys that would give their heart and soul for you. That's what it was about.
You put on a jumper in AFL or VFL in those days, you just felt, you know, you just grew another foot.
There was true footballers playing then, people who were good at their craft.
He's kicked them to the wrong man, and Mike Fitzpatrick, who says, "Don't do that to me, old fella."
After the game, we probably might go into the aftermatch of theirs for an hour and a half, and they come into ours. So you're having a few beers with blokes you were trying to kill.
Coming out with a hand pass, kick knocks Johnson down.
A bit more accepted, you know, to give a bloke a whack in the mouth if he deserved it was probably okay, you know, and it actually self-policed the game because, you know, if you gave one out, you were going to get one back.
Got 3 broken jaws out of behind the play incidents, a couple of broken noses. You put the jumper on again and off you go.
Thought I was a good-looking bloke, but I was kidding myself. My hair, I was always wrapped, but I had the part, which was like I had an axe. Someone had hit me in the top of the head with the axe.
We had mullets, sideburns, moustaches. It wasn't a good look.
Couldn't believe that we wore those shorts, but they were pretty tight.
We always thought the tight shorts were harder to grab, you know. You look at them now, it looks so stupid.
They were short shorts, but that was, you know, the footballers were much better looking back then.
And they were all right. They looked like they were painted on.
Tony Shore and Billy Pickett, they love tight shorts.
The girls like that sort of stuff. I don't reckon I get one leg into them now these days.
Past the halls of learning and deserted playing fields of Princes Park, where memories linger of Carlton's triumphs.
When I arrived, it was a real cultural shock.
Yeah, he had no idea. Seriously, had no idea what our football club was like.
And he's walked through, and I'll never forget it. We're all got a pot of beer in our hand, and a couple of the guys smoking.
He walked in and he goes, "What's going on here?" You know, it's what we do.
And his jugulars have expanded. You could see he wasn't happy, and he's got up on stage and went ballistic.
Sunday morning we had recovery. I'd be home at 10 or 11 o'clock. And they sat up in the players' room and drank until 4 or 5 in the afternoon. And I'd be getting phone calls from wives and girlfriends and mothers saying, where are my sons?
Of course we had a couple of drinks. We tried to even give Parko a drink, but he could sniff vodka in his orange juice. You know, he used to reek of orange juice.
He used to give us blood tests in the morning, on a Sunday, you know. Yeah, fair dinkum. He did a test on us after a game, and 75% were all still alcohol infused. He goes, "Well, it's all going to stop. I'm going to stop it right now." But he didn't stop it.
I thought he was terrific. He actually, after a while, he actually worked out that we weren't too bad of people.
Wonderful group of players who were absolutely and totally committed in a way that I didn't see as an opposition person.
Oh, Collingwood
Footy back then was tribal.
It was incredible because it was suburb versus suburb.
You got to hate them. If you're going to play for Carlton, Collingwood you hate.
If you play for Collingwood, you hate Carlton. You certainly, respect them, but you hate them.
The rivalry between those two clubs was unbelievable. People got the shakes and people said and did nasty things. People change.
We'd go to Victoria Park and we'd come off the ground and you'd think it was raining and it was quite a fine day, but it was people actually spitting on you.
The supporters were fantastic. They can see no wrong in their own. So one of the players could murder his mum and they'd probably say, oh, well, she had it coming.
I didn't know anyone on the Collingwood board, but when we played Carlton, they'd all be in the rooms before the game and after the game, and when we won, I've never seen a happier group.
Magpie coach firmly believes that the road to success begins by learning the correct skills on the training track.
When I got to Collingwood, people were saying this is the worst Magpie side that they can ever remember. Maggies were on the bottom of the ladder. The first time ever, this great club. I just felt that we had to train a lot harder than what they obviously had been.
A lot of things have been said about, Tommy and how we trained. So you thought the fitness was always going to be great for us.
Tommy's tough, no question he's tough, but he lives it himself. We were the fittest team, I believe, in the league, no problem. And that's why with what some would say, moderately talented teams overall, we were able to be so competitive.
Tommy was just an inspirational leader and a fantastic coach.
Tommy had instilled great belief in the group and loved his players with a passion.
Many people said, oh, when you coach the Maggies, that's what footy was all about. You couldn't wait to get to see your team quick enough.
A subliminal bonding all the time with Tommy, and that's probably why we were so close as a group.
And Tommy came, as everybody knows, in '77 and took the team from the bottom to the grand final in the 1 year, the only time that had ever been done.
Hafey had won 4 premierships before crossing to Collingwood this season.
And they went from bottom to top. It was absolutely sensational.
A Carlton-Collingwood Grand Final is the ultimate in league football. A battle between the two most bitter rivals in the 84-year history of the VFL.
I just love playing against Carlton. That day we had 112,000 in the 81 grand final, but every game you played against Carlton, you had 80,000.
Two biggest sides in the whole competition was Collingwood and Carlton. Turn up to the ground. Spectacular feeling.
Hafey had been with the Magpies for 5 seasons and was taking a side into its 5th grand final.
4 of the 5 were winnable.
You've lost 3 or 4 grand finals, you've been involved in them, and you think, this might have been my last opportunity.
There was a groundswell of angst amongst the Collingwood people to try and win one.
They were carrying the weight of expectation. It became a terrible handicap to carry.
It's absolutely essential that we wipe off the memories of what's happened in the past, and this is a different day completely.
The time is now for the 1981 VFL Grand Final.
Meet Phil Jeffs, businessman, con man, and if you get in his way, you're a dead man. Underbelly Razor, tonight, 8:30 on 9.
Relive the glory by printing your favourite AFL photos on the Kodak Picture Kiosk. Choose from player, team or action shots. Visit a participating Officeworks or Kodak Express store for these and other great quality Kodak products.
Because of the lowest prices, you can do so much more.
4 litre Cabot's natural decking oil, $49. 24 litre air compressor, $79. Brunnings weed killer, $4.20. Lowest prices are just the beginning.
What if she's out there? What if he's out there? What if you could find someone who'll love you for exactly who you are? You can with eHarmony. Review all your matches for free at eharmony.com.au.
Shouldn't have let Steve buy that last one. Better go the back way. Oh, no. Maybe it's not me. It is me. I'm going to be over. But I had those chips.
Stop.
Could be close.
Sir, the result of the test indicates...
Oh, but they give a bit of leeway, don't they? Nobody need know. I'll be right. But I'm only a little bit over here.
Just over. Just don't drive.
We have a couple questions about your son, Nathan.
Nathan Price is a high-valued asset.
He escaped an attack last night. We've got 36 hours to find this kid before they do.
Who are these people? They can't be trusted.
Listen to me, Nathan. We're going to find you.
Not if I find you first.
You have something that belongs to me. Now it's time to give it back.
With the only footage from inside the Twin Towers, the Emmy Award-winning special 9/11 10 years later, for the first time tonight, 9:30 on 9.
This program proudly brought to you by Kodak Picture Kiosks, now with AFL photos, and Elastoplast Sport, supporting your passion.
A great season was capped with a thrilling climax. The tension was electrifying. The atmosphere magnificent. The stage was set.
The tension building up is always huge.
Tommy would always have breakfast at 10 o'clock on the Saturday morning before the game and watch some boxing fight or some motivational thing, as if you needed to be motivated for the grand final.
Back in the dressing room of the Carlton Football Club, you see the players lying there, relaxing.
Being locked in the rooms is a nightmare for players. You want to get into your office, which is on the grass outside.
Running out of the race and looking up at this almighty crowd, I think there's about 115,000 people there at the time, and just having a look around and going, this is what it's all about.
Collingwood side ready to come into the ground. They're all gathering around there. Peter Moore to leave them on the ground. And listen to this crowd go.
When you ran out, the noise would fluctuate up and down, descend and crescend or whatever, to your breathing.
My overriding thought was before the game, I thought if we didn't win, they were going to shoot us. Was that big a deal for the Collingwood people?
We needed to get off to a good start. We needed to sow the seeds of doubt, if you like.
Two captains shaking hands now, Fitzpatrick and Moore.
They were a fantastic side, and there was really not a lot between us.
We both won 17 games, so we weren't scared of Carlton.
We'd played Carlton twice during the year and beaten them both times. You know, we went in with some expectations.
So it's the first quarter now of the 1981 VFL Grand Final between Collingwood and Carlton. Mike Fitzpatrick gets the first tap out, it goes to Sheldon.
Fitzy was as good a leader as I've had the privilege of coaching. He could produce like very few other footballers.
Fitzpatrick doing a marvellous job on the ruck. He's hardly missed a knockout.
Mike's just a fantastic leader, absolute natural leader.
One of the best captains I ever played under. If anyone touched the little blokes, he would be in there in a flash.
If there was one player you wanted out of the Carlton side, it was Mike Fitzpatrick, because he knitted that whole group together.
Kick back towards centre wing position, a fine mark to Fitzpatrick. He's about best on the ground at the moment.
Yeah, he's supposed to be a bloody Rhodes Scholar. I wish he just stuck to that sort of stuff.
I never like to see Fitzy have a good game. And if I didn't beat anyone, I wanted to beat him.
Fitzpatrick once once again. He's dominated those centre-mounters.
I'm always a Brownlow medalist and a particularly good athlete, but what most people didn't know is that Michael Fitzpatrick was a state 800-metre champion too.
Edged out by the Magpie skipper and the Carlton captain to take the free kick in the back pocket.
Peter Moore, for instance, was just a great player. He was a great ruckman. He was very athletic. And if he got started, he was very, very hard to slow down.
He's such an athletic guy, is that he's 6'6" or something, he could jump over the moon.
Peter Moore, can he take this mark? Well, he's handled, he's got the mark.
Morey went into the game with a real concern.
Peter Moore under a cloud before this game with a torn hamstring. No, he's missed it.
He's trying to get over a sort of grade 1 hamstring in 2 weeks. Trained on the Thursday night before the grand final and really couldn't run. Tommy talked to me and he really wanted me to play, and I wasn't confident that I was fit enough.
Playing an injured player never helps.
It was disappointing to say have a little bit of cloud over, hanging over Peter.
Towards half forward, Moore on the chest, couldn't take it.
I'll tell you what, Moore doesn't look too good to me.
We went in knowing that Peter Moore was under a cloud, and he actually played full forward most of the day.
It was the worst kept secret in the world because Carlton knew exactly what was going on. So they played Scott Howell on me, who's pretty mobile, and he ran away, and I just couldn't run with him.
Every time there's a kick-off, Howell takes off to the other side of the ground with obvious intentions of making Moore run around.
In retrospect, I shouldn't have played. It was, for me personally, it was a poor decision. Accept responsibility for going out there.
And I see Barham, was it limping out of that pack? Yes, he was. He was holding his...
I'd broken a couple of ribs in the first final we played.
They went in with 3 players who'd struggled to make it there.
Oh, Barham, he fumbled.
You cannot do it in grand finals.
So we had thoracic surgery to kill a couple of the nerve chains along the ribs so I could play. That didn't heal properly.
Oh, was a bit of a clash.
But everyone plays with injuries. Once you're out there and you a few little painkillers, it was okay.
Finally picked up by Rene King over to Ricky Barham. Goes for a long kick, looking for more. He's had a shot at goals. It's through. Great goal. Great goal by Ricky Barham.
That was one of our problems, is we didn't have any depth. So, really slightly injured players for us were probably better than what else we had available.
You're just hoping that everybody's going to be up there and maybe lift their game, because a lot of players have been absolutely sensational when they've had clouds over them.
Oh, he's got around his opponent beautifully. A running shot for goal, doesn't make the distance. Up the top of the pack as they go for Williams, a snapper to goal.
The pressure was enormous all the time. There's only one pill, and you still got to beat him to the ball.
Buckley has the chance now at centre field. Trying the short pass, looking for Mackay, great mark. 15-metre penalties as umpire Mike Dye.
All the matchups were pretty even, so we're right in the game from the start.
Mackay stabs at the kick. So Carlton come back now.
And at quarter time in the 1981 grand final, it's Collingwood 2 goals, 6-18 points to Carlton 2-4-16.
Well, even though the score was as close as it was and the game appeared to, we thought we were still controlling most of the ball.
The Blues were, a real star-studded team, and they had a lot of character about them as well. So it was never going to be easy.
I've got the feeling that we'll see a lot better football in these next 3 quarters.
The jaw was swinging in the wind. It was completely severed that side and that side.
He was walking around with a fair bit of blood on him.
He had probably more enemies in the game than any other player I've ever met.
With the one-on-one dates in full swing, there's the chance to steal a kiss.
This farmer's pretty chuffed about it all, really.
But for one other, a heart-wrenching twist. New The Farmer Wants a Wife, Monday 7:30 on 9.
Relive the glory by printing your favourite AFL photos on the Kodak Picture Kiosk. Choose from player, team or action shots. Visit a participating Officeworks or Kodak Express store for these and other great quality Kodak products.
I feel like our credit cards are getting away from us. So I was thinking, if only someone could help get them under control. ANZ have options, like transferring our other balances onto one of their credit cards and giving us 12 months at just 2.9% to help get on top of it. And they'll sort out the transfers. It's good to feel in control. In you go. And one bank is thinking the same way.
The world's toughest rally needs the world's toughest support vehicles. New Volkswagen Amarok. Tested by Dakar.
I might be little, but even my mum thinks the parklands at Playford Alive are big. So many green spaces with barbecues and sports areas, plus miles of hike, bike and pram trails. There's even wetlands close by with ducks. Calms me down every time. It's a happy, healthy place with happy, healthy people. And Mum says Playford Alive is sustainably eco-sensitive. Whatever that is. Playford Alive. Live livelier.
Get the power. Get the power of Australia's biggest independent.
Get the power of a big range.
Get the power of tyre brands you can trust.
And get the power of lower prices.
Tyre Power. Get the power of Australia's biggest independent.
Caller, you're on the air.
Jared, you'll never guess where I am. I'll give you a clue. Every Grand Slam on Foxtel.
Sorry, folks, let's try that again.
I'm somewhere in Melbourne, live and exclusive to Foxtel. And in 2012, every game of every round, live and free, siren to siren and free, Jared!
I get it. 40 of Foxtel's popular channels, plus 10 dedicated sport channels, free installation, all for just $50 per month.
Jared?
Once upon a time, three gorgeous creatures set the world on fire. They were iconic, legendary. Now, the phenomenon is reborn. Australia's Rachel Taylor sizzles. New Charlie's Angels coming soon to 9.
Collingwood players knocked out.
Allen it is, Luke. Allen is out cold, or he was.
We're short of players anyway, and then Graham Allen got, King hit early.
He doesn't look too good, Graham Allen. I think he will be assisted from the ground.
I was on one knee and I was shaking my head and I'm thinking, I'm all right. I copped a whack. I didn't know who from or where from.
Dom's giving him the biggest left hand right into the mouth, and the blood just started coming out.
When I stood up, I tried to bite down and the jaw was swinging in the wind. It was completely severed that side and that side. I couldn't stop the jaw from swinging around.
He was walking around with a fair bit of blood on him. A guy walking around with a busted jaw and blood streaming everywhere.
So I stayed for the whole game, watched it on the bench, and then I went to hospital.
You don't like losing a good player, and he was a very good player for us, and that's just the breaks you get.
I just got a whack. I should have been more alert. There was no big drama.
When he hit you, the Dominator, he hit you.
Wayne Johnson, probably more enemies in the game than any other player I've ever met.
A snarly little bloke.
Johnson goes in pretty hard.
You give him one, he would absolutely give it back twice, 3 times.
I think I counted 21 times leading into the finals where the Dom had a crack at me and belted me. This is that training.
He's playing a great game for Carlton so far.
He played on the edge, but generated more, I think, productivity when it came to winning finals than any Carlton player in the history of the game.
Knocked away by Mackay, straight to Johnston, snaps it, goal. Ashman underneath it, couldn't take it, then advances through.
I mean, Dom was a freak of a player, and it wouldn't surprise me that he's done a leg break and it's gone through. If you asked Dom, he'd probably say he meant it.
Wayne wasn't the most popular opponent, I don't think, for anybody. I mean, partly because of the way he carried on, he was beating his own chest continuously, but that was him and that was his ego.
I'm not sure who nominated him the Dominator, probably him himself.
Dacos bounces off on McClure, sends Collingwood deep into attack.
Playing on Peter Dacos, know that he can change a game in 1 or 2 minutes.
He could do so many mercurial things that, you know, the stuff that players do now, Dakes led the way.
At the Stewart in turn to Tony Shaw. The Magpies are of light. Here's Dacos. Snap for goal coming up. It's on target. Look at that for goal.
I always felt that he'd build up just for the Carlton games, and he played some great games against them.
You see Dacos going down. That'll be a blow to Collingwood holding his knee.
It will be a tragedy for Collingwood if Dacos is not 100% fit. He didn't look too good.
Notice that Dacos is still in the hands of the trainer out there. And a chance now for Barham to pick it up. Gets a hurried kick back. Out there towards Dacos. He's got the mark.
And Peter Dacos, who was in the hands of the trainers, back out there and looks okay.
He was always playing half injured.
Hey, everybody hurts.
Knocked away by Fitzpatrick. McConville went through without the ball. Dacos got offloaded.
No, you never worry about what's happened. You always worry about what you're going to do next.
Looking for Moore, of course, who's in front. And then he got the mark.
There was heaps of pressure, yeah, and that's what you do. You hopefully perform under pressure, and that's the reason you play the game.
He had a headband on. Well, he had to keep that hair in.
Snares it well, Dool. Beautifully done.
That was part and parcel of his armour.
If you took it off his head, he'd go crazy.
Dool in front of the pack. Can't complete the mark. Playing on roll without the headband.
To uncap Bruce with his band was probably the thing that no Carlton person wanted to see. The only time I ever saw him get out of control.
You couldn't touch him, he was God.
And Bahagia has gone and taken his headband off and thrown it into the crowd. And everyone thought, oh my God, Dooley's going to go ballistic.
The flying Gourmet lost his headband.
He's just gone to his sock, pulled out another headband and whacked it on.
He fumbled the ball, down he goes. Umpire call play on, and what a game this guy's playing. A magnificent bit of football. Once again, it's Dool in the way to take a good mark in defeat. And what a game Dool's playing at the moment.
Did he ever play a bad game?
He never didn't play a blinder.
Picking up towards half forward. Dool goes to spoil. McConville gives it to him.
If you talk to any player that played with him in that era, they'd all say that Bruce Dool was the best player that they played with.
He was probably the first bloke that I know that could spoil a ball, but hit a bloke on the chest who's roving to it.
Big punch by Dool.
He just goes into the history as one of the greats, but I don't think giving him enough credit. He was a super player.
Out towards the right half forward flank. Davis and Gould. Knocked away by Gould.
So you see Dool in man up on an opposition player, and you can see the bloke's head just go down and think, oh my God, I'm in for a shocker today.
The most trusted player in AFL football, in my opinion, was Bruce Dool.
And he's getting away from Byrne. He's played a great game, Bruce Dool.
I actually thought Bruce Dool was the heart and soul of this place. He's probably one of the greatest players we've ever seen.
That Carlton defence standing up as Stewart breaks out of the pack and a bit of walking, fancy dancing. The ball up there towards the goals. Will it make it? It's a goal. So the Magpies are back in front by a point.
We would go into many games where the first half we would be behind, but full of confidence.
Coming in there as Harms, he goes down, tapped on again by McConville, brilliantly over to Wells. Another hand pass to Mail, and this looks dangerous. He's grabbed him clear, he fires at the goals, and could be through for 1 point.
I don't think there was any panic. I still think that we were confident that we're going to win the game.
Glasgow at centre field, putting Carlton into attack after that mark. Half forward, Mackay couldn't take it. Here's Maven running into an open goal and has missed an absolute sitter.
There was certainly a concern that we had to sort of break free of them.
You have to play them for every minute of the game. You can't expect to just them to roll over.
See the siren go for the end of the second quarter, and Carlton in front by a point.
Half-time, all we did was reinforce the original message. To actually ask somebody to change their game in the middle of the game is an absolute stupidity when you think about it.
And the game's played for 100 minutes. You've got to just make certain everything goes right.
A very exciting first half, and of course a point the difference that's still anybody's game.
To me, I think we just lost the plot.
They were arguing with each other.
People were getting involved from outside in the huddle, and somebody's panicking.
Spring has sprung. It's bloomin' marvellous in the Adelaide Hills.
This time of the year, it's at its best.
Chill out, kick back. This is Sea Change Central.
Just a beauty of people.
A famous South Australian who truly left his mark. Plus,
a traditional Japanese art form.
On Nine's postcards tonight, 5:30.
Relive the glory by printing your favourite AFL photos on the Kodak Picture Kiosk. Choose from player, team or action shots. Visit a participating Officeworks or Kodak Express store for these and other great quality Kodak products. At Red Rooster, we've spiced things up. Introducing Peri Peri Chicken. Succulent peri peri fillets with creamy mayo or chili and garlic aioli in a burger, wrap or baguette. So,
don't think twice.
Going overseas? Think smart. Buy a Travel SIM card before you leave. One SIM works in over 170 countries and offers low-cost roaming rates. Smart travellers don't leave home without it. Buy a Travel SIM from Allphones this month and go into the running to win $5,000 worth of travel vouchers towards your dream holiday.
The new Kindle e-reader with storage for up to 3,500 books and 2 months battery life is finally here in Australia. Who has it for $219?